Hi everyone, and welcome to our second video where we look at retain. In our first video, Christoph talked about the importance of retain, particularly when it comes to achieving our global mission of accelerated growth. Now, retain programs in Asia Pacific are a really important part of our revenue base. When I started to look at the numbers with Andrew Wong, we have estimated that in terms of external revenue, retain programs account for approximately 25% of our external revenue in 2019. And that equates to some 60 million euros of business. Now, I'm sure we all agree that that's a big chunk of change and it's something that we should be proud of, but also it's something that we don't want to lose. I'm often asked about the definition of what a retain program is for Asia Pacific and indeed for the globe. I'm going to share with you some of those characteristics, but I want you to bear in mind that for your markets, a retain program is something that you consider to be significant. Now, it has to be a program which is recurring. That's the very nature of retain. It's a recurring program, but it could be significant in terms of revenue, but it also could be significant for your market in terms of keeping a competitor at bay or keeping a competitor out of having a relationship with a particular client. When we look though at the broader definition of retain, it certainly should be something which is recurring. I think I've said that a number of times now. So it's a recurring program, but it also addresses a specific business question that's been posed by the client. The other thing that defines retain programs quite clearly is the fact that they have a statement of work associated with them. Now, that statement of work could be quite loose or it could be quite detailed, but essentially it's something which is written down. It has been written down by the client, which typically gives us obviously a very clear overview of what's expected of that particular program. But one thing to bear in mind is that not all retain programs are exclusive to Ipsos. They've been awarded to Ipsos, but they're not necessarily exclusive. They could be also being handled by another supplier, just for you to bear in mind. As we enter Q4, in October as I shoot this video, I think it's a really important time for us to think about reviewing where we are with our retain programs in market. It's a really good opportunity for us to have an internal workshop, for example, to get all the key stakeholders from Ipsos together to talk about how are things going. Now, those key stakeholders obviously should include the program leader, the country manager, service line leader, client organization, other key individuals, and also finance, I would argue. They should be there too. But also try and employ a degree of empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the client and see the program from their point of view in terms of how we're performing and what we're delivering. What do we need to do to improve? How do we continue to delight our clients? But also think about the program from a challenger point of view. We talk a lot about brand challenger, don't we? But think about the point of view from a retain program as a challenger brand. What would the likes of our competitors be doing if they wanted to steal that particular program away from us? Where would our vulnerabilities lie? Where are our weaknesses? What would they be doing that we're not currently? I think that's a really good exercise for us to do. So do that internally, try and do that as a workshop, perhaps even do it off-site, but then obviously get our clients involved too. It's important that we hear from them, obviously. How are the programs working internally? How are they working with the client stakeholders? What kind of value are we adding? What kind of business questions are we addressing at the end of the day? What do we need to change? What do we need to modify? How can we improve things to delight in the future? So think about that too. If you can't afford or don't have the time to do a workshop, think about doing a lunch session with our clients, or think about doing a dinner session. This time of year is a really good time of year for us both to celebrate those retain programs with our clients, as well as socialize with our clients, and to have a bit more of a deeper relationship. So I would urge you all to do that. I'm also asked some of the questions around, well, what's happening globally with retain? So let me just touch on that as well. Brigitte Biteau is the head of Win and Retain for the globe. She is at the moment developing a dashboard, a global dashboard, which she'll soon be rolling out, and some of you will obviously be having access to that. That's a really important way for us to determine how we're performing globally in terms of our programs, but it also gives us an opportunity, and particularly our country managers and our finance heads, to look at, well, what are the key steps that we still need to take both this year and going into next year in terms of 2020. I've also been working with Andrew Wong to begin to start to put together the framework for a similar program for Asia Pacific. Now that's not perfect yet, of course. We're just trying to get a benchmark, if you like, in terms of the financials around Retain. What do we have? What actually qualifies as a Retain program? So thank you for your help in terms of helping us to put that together. We will be coming back, maybe asking more questions. I really seek your patience here, but we do need to get that clean so that we can then move forward and have a very good program ourselves of understanding where we are with our Retain work and also developing a dashboard that's going to be more effective in the future. So as we enter Q4, let's not forget, a great time for us to review where we are on our Retain programs internally and with our clients. I recommend that we all do that. It's also a really good opportunity for us to socialize and to celebrate. The last thing I'd really like to touch upon is about celebration of Retain programs. We're really good at celebrating wins, aren't we? And I know that all our different markets have different ways of doing that. Here in Thailand, we have a really good bell that we ring. Everyone's rah, rah, rah. That's fantastic. I don't see the same thing happening on Retain. We need to celebrate Retain. We need to understand and reinforce the importance of Retain to meeting our accelerated growth objectives for this year and for next year. And I really am looking for your support for us to do that. So do celebrate success, but also celebrate the success of Retain. So for more information, do come to me, and most of you know who I am. You know where to find me. I'm gordon.milne@ipsos.com. If you want more information on Retain, there is a SharePoint. I'll make sure that that SharePoint information is shared both on this video and also in terms of the written information that we have to support this. In the meantime, thank you very much for your help. I wish you all a very successful Q4. Thank you.